Welcome to the Women Who Change the World podcast, the place where everyday women world changers share their stories to inspire, challenge, and equip you to change your world.
The event of the year for Christian business owners is just around the corner. Handprint Legacy Live 2021 is virtual this year, which makes it super easy to attend from anywhere in the world without makeup, long flights, or expensive hotel rooms. Thursday through Saturday, June 24 to 26, we'll spend 3 powerful days mapping out your first or next most important steps for your business. I'm Katie Horner. My husband and I have grown from full-time ministry in Mexico to full-time international business owners by understanding and solving the countless marketing challenges faced by Christian entrepreneurs. We created the Handprint Legacy Live event as a safe haven where small business owners, teachers, authors, and coaches strategize, implement, and grow their business. This event is highly interactive and tickets are limited. Grab yours today before we sell out, because 3 days of Bible-based fun and marketing instruction is going to leave you with your next marketing funnel all mapped out. Register now for the 2021 event at handprintlegacylive.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Women Who Change the World. My name is Samantha Hatcher and I am here to interview Dawn Miller, and I am so excited because she is another fellow JMT sister. Yes, for JMT Sisterhood. But she is here to talk to you about her passion and her purpose and to give you a glimpse into her story. And just like everybody else who's come through here, she's just a normal person like you and I. She's faced her struggles and she keeps standing up whenever life trips her. How are you, Dawn?
I am great. It's always a good day to see your face and hear your voice, and just a great honor to be on the show. You're doing amazing things. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. So tell us a little bit about your story, where you started in struggle and how you got to where you are now.
Absolutely. I was born and raised in Iowa, very rural farm life. My father actually never made it past 8th grade. I was the last of 12 kids, and that's why I love you so much, because you have the bundles of joy as well. The last of 12 kids. I was the only one that actually went to college. I went to college in Iowa. My last semester of college, I made a big ask, right? And we initially met because of your quote unquote big ask through some training. So the big ask for me was, actually, I wrote a letter. I wanted to go on a study abroad program, coming from Iowa and, Midwest rural farm life. I wanted to see the world, right? Because I wanted to change the world, right? So I wanted to go on a study abroad program, and I didn't have, of course, a lot of money. And I wrote a "to whom it may concern" letter with my application through semester at sea. And I said, "To whom it may concern, my parents are basically retired and living off of, the retirement in the farmland." Anyway, and long story short, I ended up getting a scholarship, the largest financial scholarship at that time for semester at sea. And I literally traveled around the world, saw 13 countries in 100 days. And it definitely changed my world. Throughout growing up, I was heavy. And by the time I ended up going on this study abroad program, I had reached, and I didn't know, right? Because I didn't want to weigh myself. At that time, I weighed 280 pounds. And I only share that because it's definitely one of my struggles and hard places. But I ended up, seeing the world. My roommate on that study abroad program was going to college in Florida. She encouraged me to, and I packed up my 85 Cutlass Supreme with as many clothes and books as I could. And I left Iowa, and I, pioneered and went to Florida. And with this wanting to change the world, I ended up becoming working with the American Red Cross as a public relations specialist. So I felt like I was really contributing to the world. And then eventually lost weight. And I'm seeing you wanting to make a comment right now.
I'm just acknowledging, working for the Red Cross, traveling the world. Yeah, that's always been a dream of mine. But hey, for Midwest girls, I'm in Indiana. So
Yes,
and
yes,
surrounded by farmland.
yes, yeah. And I mean, you can imagine, like, I mean, population 800, that's where I went to high school. There's like 70 people in my graduating class. Everyone looked like me. The
Mhm.
German background or heritage. My grandfather had actually moved from Germany when he was 19, and just yeah. So I was like, I want to see what is this big world about, and I got that opportunity, right? And it led me to. It led me to Florida, and I was grateful for that. And that's kind of like one of the underlying themes that I really want to encourage women. It's like, well, you want to grow where you're planted, but spread your wings and fly as well. And I was grateful for that connection, and I'm still friends with that lady today, my roommate. And she was born and raised in Trinidad in the Caribbean, and I've been blessed to
Ooh.
be able to, yes, travel through those friendships that I've made,
Mhm.
and also with business. But yeah, so I worked for the American Red Cross for about a year, and then I transitioned to sales and marketing position in the tourism industry. And I only say that because 9/11 then happened. And it just, it hit my heart. And I had lost this weight through this journey of, transformation and wanting to, better myself and seeing like this big world. And I was able to then I ended up joining the Navy Reserves right after 9/11. And part of my, I guess my journey, if you will, and my passion was that I was in Florida at the time, and I went through boot camp, but yet like there was still some unfulfillment, right? Because I was
Mhm.
doing sales and marketing for like an entertainment venue. What am I doing to change the world, right? I'm like, people are having a great time, right? So I was in the Navy Reserves, and I'm doing a journalist work, which really filled my soul as well. Anyway, in 2004, I ended up leaving Florida and coming to Virginia, where I've been back and forth, and in attempt to do active duty with the Navy. And I joke around. Unfortunately, I say I was better in sales than I was being a sailor, because at the same time I got my real estate license. I Yeah, yeah, so I got licensed for real estate in 2004, finished my Navy career, and it's crazy. I had to lose so much weight to join the Navy, right, over 100 pounds, and then they ended up processing me out because I regained weight. They processed me out, and that's embarrassing, but it's part of your story as well. And also part of the story is, and ladies, don't do this, right? Listen to your mothers. It's like never move in, never live with a man before you get married, because I was engaged to a sailor, and he was up here. We were together in Florida, and he was up here. And I say that because basically 90 days after I moved to Virginia from Florida, I moved out, and part of the struggle was like I moved 5 times in the first 13 months that I was in this new state, and I didn't know anyone. And I also got started in a new business, so that's part of the story as well that I want to encourage people, especially women. It's like you don't have to know a lot of people in order to, like, start a business, and then also
Mhm.
to be, to move to a certain area, right? So
Mhm.
I ended up staying, and how I'm kind of where I'm at right now today is 2015. I ended up leaving one real estate company and coming to the real estate company that I'm at now. And leadership matters, right? So that
Yes.
leader, yeah, in 2015 saw a leader within me, and I was blessed to be able to start a training and coaching program and help real estate agents build and better their business. And you want to talk about, it takes a different kind of crazy to really like a different kind of crazy, right? To really, like, live your purpose. Is that in 2016, after a year of doing that in Virginia, I was able to make great connections with women. I'm like, people are doing this full time. I ended up moving to Texas and did training and coaching for basically like off of a commission, right? When these other agents ended up selling or closing on homes, then I got compensated. So I was juggling two businesses 1,200 miles away. I turned down well over $100,000 in my own business to go and help others build and better their business. And joining the John Maxwell team was just part of plan of growing myself, right, and helping others outside of the real estate industry. And that's kind of where I'm at right now today. There's another part to the story, but I feel like I'm talking too much, and I'll let you digest that right now.
No, 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 no. That is wow. You have been on an adventure.
Yes, adventure, and ladies, don't like travel, and even if you have to travel alone, and even if you start traveling by going to your favorite restaurant or coffee shop where you live, right? That's, to me, it's like I've had people like just be so inspired. Like, I've been blessed to make connections internationally, and I've traveled by myself internationally, and I've had these experiences that I wouldn't been able to have if I ended up traveling with someone else.
That's always been a fear of mine of traveling alone because it's just the aloneness of it. Because there's so much protection in more than one. But on my vision board this year is to get my passport, and it's time to start doing the thing partly that I'm passionate about, which is travel. I want to see all the places that I see pictures of on Instagram.
I
Usually for
love
me that
that.
has to do with water. And I
Oh,
almost joined the Navy as well.
wow. Yeah.
I wanted to fly Blue Angels. He took one look at me, realized I wore glasses, and he said, "Nope, not gonna work." So
Mm.
it's like, okay, forget it. I don't want to do it anyway.
Mm-mm-mm.
But it's just part of the story, and you think that those things don't really affect you. That it's like, oh, it's just part of my story. It's not a big deal, but it is a big deal because everything you do builds you up for the next thing that you're going to face and
Mhm.
the next thing that you're going to deal with. So, how has your joining the Navy, doing marketing? Okay, I already know how marketing and PR helps with real estate. I can totally see that. But how was your stint in the Navy Reserves? How did that help you in your business right now?
It's all about the work ethic, and think about, especially if you're from the Midwest. And you had made a mention the world is definitely smaller now due to technology and COVID and everything. That I lost my train of thought, but it's about like really the work ethic,
Mhm.
right? So the farm life and Navy, and
So you're saying your farm life prepared you to be in the Navy?
yeah, I would say so. Yeah. And then just being here, again, moving 17 years ago to a state where I didn't know, but one person, and didn't know the area, was like quite obviously like I've got to meet people, right? And
Mhm.
then the basic question is like, who do you know, like that I could help, right? And then part of the story too, is to kind of finish it is what COVID really showed me. It's like, man, ask yourself, what is it that you want? What is it that you really, really, really want? Right. And
Mhm.
I was like, real estate it's been great, and I love my clients and those that reach out to me, but it's also taken so much away from my life. I've always been working very hard at it. So, I really had to sit back and think, right? And it was like, I'm doing this speaking, training, coaching thing, if you will. Like, I have full-time hours, effort, energy into speaking, training, and coaching now. And I pass on opportunities for real estate for, the other agents that I work with. So
That's interesting how it kind of leads from one thing to the other. You had made a comment when you and I had talked before about you're more than the hats that you wear. You're more than just a wife, you're more than just a mom, you're more than
yes,
just whatever. What does that actually mean?
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because it seems like an underlying theme with women, and especially again, those are wearing many hats. So it's like, what is the song, right? What is the song that you're singing? How does it like affect your, world? And what are you doing to kind of
Mhm.
give back? Is what I learned when I spent some time in Texas is I again initially moved there to do training and coaching, and it fizzled out. That opportunity fizzled out, and I made a bad decision and reconnected with someone that I was with actually in Virginia, that I eventually married and then had to leave quite quickly. That like, you are not, don't put your worth into like your job title or lack thereof. And I really started to feel that like I was on my A game, right, in the other
Mhm.
state, and everybody knew me. Everybody called me by my nickname. And, here I am in another state, 1,200 miles away. I had to learn the, new area. I took on uh, uh, 4 step kids. He had sole custody of his kids, which was amazing. But it was like I felt like where, like I'm not, worthy, and or I was like I was putting all this definition into who I am based on, the work that I was doing.
Mhm. So you had tied your worth to the things that you did. How did you step away from that?
Hmm. Great question. Great question. I'd have to say, and again, the theme is we're ordinary, everyday women. Like we have superpowers, right? And that those are our strengths. But I have nothing extra special that no one else does. I really recognize to really know yourself, you have to grow yourself, and I know that that's familiar to you, right? And I was like, do what you've always done, get what you've always got. I had an amazing position in front of me in Texas, and I interviewed for it. And it was like with the largest real estate office within the largest real estate company as a coach. And she ended up stopping me and throughout the interview process. And she's like, you've done amazing things, and like stuff that I don't know. Like she's a fellow coach. She's like, I didn't know that, and or I didn't know that like as soon as you knew that,
Mhm.
but you do not have like the self-confidence like when you show up to a team meeting or office meeting with
Mhm.
1,000 agents, which would be like 1,000 employees. Like I'm a leader within yeah. She's like, you need to work on yourself. And I was like, I got to join the John Maxwell team. I got to grow myself. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, here's the other thing. It's like, then my self-image, grew, and I was in this not so nice marriage. And it took like everything to like, that's when 2018 is like my transformation year. It was really hard. And I appreciate women that are in not so nice, situations and get themselves out, especially
Mhm.
those that struggle, because I packed up my car. I shipped my car and whatever I could fit on a one-way flight back from Texas to Virginia in 2018. And I stopped accepting less than what I deserved. Right. When you talk about wearing many hats, like up again and down again in weight. And there I was up again in weight. And
Mhm.
somebody that I was married to, supposed to be forever, 10 months in, doesn't want to doesn't want, doesn't want to be married to me anymore,
Mhm.
and just making it very clear that, I mean, with the way that he was treating me, it was like, I've got to leave or else I'm not going to be alive anymore.
So, if I have started and failed at a business, how can I start again this time and believe I have what it takes to succeed?
Ooh, I love that because it, I'm sitting here thinking, especially last week was my birthday, and I always do self reflection. I always want to be X, in X place and do X by the time of my birthday. And I was like, you know what? Like the small amount of success that I'm sitting on is because of the whole huge mound of mistake, right?
Mhm.
And don't be afraid to start again. And I know people are always like, oh, well, perfect conditions never exist, right? We talk about that, right? And take a step, the next step will reveal itself. And consistency compounds what you do and what you don't do. I encourage you, like with another coaching network that I'm a part of, specific to business coaching, we encourage them that it's life principles that you can apply to business, right? Because
Mhm.
we coach to the whole person,
Right.
right? Again, don't be like your title in your business, or don't put all yourself, your thoughts and your worth into, the mom and the spouse. It's like, think big, but go small, right? Whatever time that you have and whatever money that you have, there's so much free tools and low cost, and we can really educate ourselves on the the business that we want to do. And then can I can I transition into
Sure.
something else that I'm super passionate about?
Sure.
Excuse me, it's an underlying theme. Underlying theme. And I actually questioned it with my mother. My mother's 85 years old and she barely graduated high school. And in fact, with her being 85, and this was like a faux pas, way back then, she was pregnant. She's pregnant when she got married and she's pregnant in high school, right? I say that because she ended up cleaning like one or two houses and then she later on ended up going to the farmer's market. She was good at baking, right? So she'd sell bread. Don't think that because you have a small business or like a side hustle, that sort of thing, that you don't have a business. If you're bringing money into your household, ladies, you have a business and you own that. Don't call it a hobby, right? Own that you're business women.
So your mom was an entrepreneur, your dad was an entrepreneur. Are any of your other siblings entrepreneurs?
No, and I'm so glad you recognize that because it took me long to really realize that, because here's another thing that you don't want to put your worth into. It's like, and this is a different time and era. My mother's 85 and my father was 90 when he passed last year. So it's like a different generation, right? So let go of the limiting beliefs. Um, it, my father wasn't the nicest husband in the whole entire world, and my mother really sacrificed. I mean, and back then there wasn't, of course, the internet, right? And we can do so much by offering our products and service, e-commerce and the internet, right? That I didn't realize until later on that she truly had her own business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, even though it was small, right? But that money meant everything to her. It was the money where my dad wasn't great with money. So that was money she knew that she could count on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, and usually just paid another bill.
So what you're saying is use what you have where
Yeah,
you are to make a difference while you grow, to make a bigger
absolutely.
difference.
Well said.
It's a thing that I think we as women, and especially women who stay home with their children, they feel like this is all I am, this is all I do. And you say, well, what do you do? Oh, I'm just a mom. I've even been guilty of that. I'm just a mom because for 23 years of my life, that's all I've been. It's just a mom. I'm just a mom. I just homeschool my kids. That's all I am. That's all I have. And it wasn't until some very traumatic things happened that I started waking up to being more than just.
Mm,
So when we had talked, you had talked about people playing small. And I think that kind of leads into like what I was talking about of just being. So can you explain what you mean by playing small and how do we prevent that from happening to ourselves?
right. There's a difference between playing small and starting small, right? And focusing on small wins daily, right? So ask yourself, like, what's what's holding you back, right? That could be like you playing small. And I want to share this quote with you because when I'm challenged, right, the limiting beliefs and
Mhm.
the negative, talk in my head, it's like, who are you, right? Oh, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be there. It's just da 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 da. You're playing small. So just say, who are you not to be, right? My deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, is that we are powerful beyond measure. We ask ourselves, who are we? Who are we to be? Who are you not to be? You're brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. That's who you are. And your playing small does not serve the world, right?
Mm.
So don't think like, and one of the books that I'm super passionate about, and I know that you are too, being a John Maxwell team member, is Put Your Dream to the Test, right? Is put your dream to the test. And he says there's like there's a number of things that we do to let ourselves, or excuses we use rather, to let ourselves off the hook or out of our dreams. And it's like, just start where you're at with what you have, right? And I had a conversation with with an executive, and she not only trained me and empowered me, but is like truly equipping me in my business through her being at the Chamber of Commerce. That she told her story because she ended up going back to work after easily 15 years. It was like, what are you doing now? Is like, if you're in that position that you're a mother, don't think that you don't have a lot, anything or a lot to offer the world, or you're just this, you're not. And like, she's like, equate what you're doing at home into skills. And like the journey that she shared was amazing. And that's what I encourage you all to do. And plus too, if we have 30 minutes or an hour with just even getting on to ding, 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 your podcast, right? And listening from other women will help us grow as well.
That's why I've tried to keep them into 30 minutes. 30-minute blocks is about all I have. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm kind of assuming my listeners have. But when you're talking about playing small, are you talking about having limiting beliefs? Are you talking about, as my dad would say, trash talking yourself? What is exactly the because I've heard it a lot. It's kind of like just lingo that's just been thrown around about playing small. What do you mean about women playing small? Because women tend to we play small a lot. What do you mean by it?
What do I mean by it? And this is where God shows up, right? And yeah, and you talk about like, what are you, what's your purpose, right? And what are your skills? And it's like, if we were to see ourselves the way that God sees us, I had talked about, it's like, what is your greatest sin? And while like you, what is your greatest sin? Like the greatest sin would be, well, he forgives us of all of our sins, but just think about it, like, why are we not being who God, made us and to be and intended for us to be, right?
Mm.
Yes.
So how we prevent it is by establishing our worth from the one who created us instead of establishing our worth by everybody's opinion of us or
Yeah.
even our opinion of ourselves. That
Hmm.
makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So
Yep. Yep. Strong and courageous, right? Strong and
it's
courageous. And he did not give us the spirit of fear, because a lot of times, and that's the thing too, we're playing small because of fear. He didn't give us that. You weren't born with fear. Power, love, self-discipline, girl. When I get into my things, that's a faith, hope, love, right?
mhm.
And then self-discipline, right? Power. I'm powerful beyond, measure. And it's time to push past the fear, right? I always, like we talk about choices too. You have a choice. If you're living in fear, then you can't live out your faith, right? There's two choices, faith or fear.
Well, and it's interesting when you live in that space of fear, it prevents you from having conversations because
Mm,
you're already judging that person before you give them the opportunity to make a
mm,
decision. I had this kind of happen with my oldest girl. I was picking her up from work. She's getting her driver's license test. Yay! She's been so scared to do it. I'm so proud of her. But I was waiting for her to come out of where she works. I was talking with a client, and I have no idea when she's going to walk out the door. And so she comes out and she sees that I'm talking with a client. She is very upset with me. And so it took her about a week to process through that and say, hey, I felt disrespected because you were talking with your client. And it's like, but wait a minute. That time before you walk out the door is my time. And do you know when you're going to walk out the door? Well, no, not really. So part of me a couple of years ago would have taken that in and taken it personally and shrunk myself down to fit what everybody else thought I should be and what they thought I should do. I was living the life they wanted me to live instead of living my own life. And once she was free to have that
yeah.
conversation, I talked to her about it. And I also talked to my client about it because what I had said to my client is my daughter will be coming out. I don't know when. If you don't want to talk to me anymore with her here, just say you have to go. And so I had set myself
Mm,
up to succeed, but then that self-doubt crept in of, well, you should have been prepared and you should have been ready and you should have and you should have and you should have. And you're so busy living the life everybody else thinks you need to live that you get trapped under all those hats. And then people say, what do you do? Oh, I'm just a mom. Oh, I'm just this. I'm just that. You're not your own person.
Mhm.
And I think that's where, I mean, an example in your
Mhm.
life is you have lived your life. You are your own person. You do your own thing. You've moved all across the country. You've been in the Navy. You have had to step out and be very extroverted in marketing and coaching, and you've taken what you had and you've become you instead of who everybody else thought you should be, the youngest of 12 growing up on a farm. You're supposed to kind of stay in that little box, and instead you're like, nope,
Mhm.
no box for me. I'm going to live my life. So what is that,
Mhm.
something that somebody
Yeah,
taught you, or something that
I
was innate in you?
mhm.
Was that something somebody taught you, or was that innate in you?
Right. Yeah. I remember my mother telling me a number of years ago, she wrote me a letter and she's like, you always had that wanderlust in you from when you were 5. And honestly, it was like growing up in, again on the farm and rural life, it was like I didn't see a lot of opportunities. And then what I saw was, not again, it was an okay relationship, but I really saw like, my mother was like, just get off the farm, study, get off the farm, don't marry a farmer, you know? And I just, I get that's what I did. But there's plenty of times in my life where I wasn't living intentionally, right? And living like authentic, unique life, right? And just- you just give yourself permission to start again and recreate yourself because every day we wake up and we're made anew, right?
Mm-hmm. Hey everyone, I know that we are just getting started into this episode, but I had to cut the podcast episode in half to make 2 episodes because it was just too good to edit anything out. Be on the lookout because part 2, I promise, is worth the wait.
The event of the year for Christian business owners is just around the corner. Handprint Legacy Live 2021 is virtual this year, which makes it super easy to attend from anywhere in the world without makeup, long flights, or expensive hotel rooms. Thursday through Saturday, June 24 to 26, we'll spend 3 powerful days mapping out your first or next most important steps for your business. I'm Katie Horner. My husband and I have grown from full-time ministry in Mexico to full-time international business owners by understanding and solving the countless marketing challenges faced by Christian entrepreneurs. We created the Handprint Legacy Live event as a safe haven where small business owners, teachers, authors, and coaches strategize, implement, and grow their business. This event is highly interactive and tickets are limited. Grab yours today before we sell out, because 3 days of Bible-based fun and marketing instruction is going to leave you with your next marketing funnel all mapped out. Register now for the 2021 event at handprintlegacylive.com.